Everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Bronco Raptor. Now, it's always a good week when you have a Bronco. It's an even better one when it's a Raptor. Yeah, we've had a blast this week, so let's go ahead and get started. We get started in the front, and yeah, this thing is awesome. I love it. And what's funny is I didn't think I was gonna like the shelter green color, and turns out I like it a little bit more than I thought I would. My wife though, she loved this, and because I thought I was always like the Raptor blue color or red, but this looks very subtle, but when the light hits it, it has green, it has yellow, it has, yeah, just all these different, like a gold color. It looks incredible. So yeah, I think I may go with this if I were to one day buy a Bronco Raptor, but loving this color. We have the awesome Raptor hood up here with the badging. We have these guys here, which are always great. You can obviously put max load of up to 150 pounds on them. What I like about them though is they're great as guides for your field of vision when you're off-roading. So loving this thing. Then we get to the headlights, and these things look nice. Unfortunately though, they were suffering a little bit regarding light output. I was a little kind of confused because it was a very defined shape, but it was very soft in light output. So yeah, kind of confused by that because I'm trying to remember if I had that issue or if I even drove the other ones at night. But let me know if you're a Bronco owner, if you've experienced that, because it's been a while since I've been in a Bronco. But we have that. The other kind of thing is we have fog lights. So we have the rigid quad setup. So we do have two on each side, and we have the little covers there. These have no problem, and obviously we have the hookups in there for auxiliary power for additional lighting. But as far as factory, yeah, let me know, because I'd be kind of interested in that. But talking a little bit more about lighting, we have the Raptor, iconic Raptor lights there. We have the front facing camera for the 360-degree camera system, which is very much needed in this very wide Bronco, as you can see, because yeah, contrary to belief, Texas-sized driveways don't really exist in Texas. They're really small. Same thing with parking spots. For some reason, everyone has a truck, but every parking lot seems to be for really small compact cars. So yes, thank you for having the 360-degree camera system, which is very easy to activate in order to see the dimensions of that. Now, the only thing is I'm looking at the Ford logo on the grill, and I'm wondering if there's an aftermarket that would maybe make this stand out or pop a little bit better. But it doesn't look too bad. Then we have the bumper. Yeah, this thing is, yeah, beefy as hell. And again, we have the rigid lights on there. We do have a better approach angle because this is a special bumper for the Raptor compared to the other Broncos. So loving that. We can see definitely some skid plate protection right under there. Nice though is that we don't lose kind of like your cruise control or your safety measures right in that opening there. But this thing is awesome. I love it. It's really freaking cool. And let's go ahead and see what we have under this awesome hood. We get under the hood and we have the 3.0 liter turbocharged V6 EcoBoost engine, and it is cranking out 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 10-speed auto and then to the 4x4 system. Now, a couple of things with this. Yes, we still have a V6. Yes, I'm waiting for the Bronco Raptor R, and that's gonna be fun. To have the V8 that the F-150 Raptor R got. So come on, Ford, maybe do a refresh and surprise us with that. But either way though, this is a blast. I love this engine. It's just so much fun, so much power, and there goes your MPGs, because yeah, you're gonna want this thing to always be screaming, and it sounds really good. I like it, especially the fact that we have the different modes that we can actually open up the exhaust. Really cool. to basically always have it in the Baja or off-road. I forget what it is for the exhaust. Off-road use only, of course, but it's great. I mean, I did have to put a couple of bucks of gas in it because it wasn't gonna make it to this spot after my driving of the review, but that's because we've been driving this thing on the highway, and on the highway it's been great at just, you know, passing power, yes, cruising power, yes. It's just been awesome. I love this thing. And then yeah, the turbo power is just great. Love it. V6 doesn't sound bad. The transmission is fine. 10 speeds. You know, I love the fact that we have 10 speeds because when I downshift, that means we can downshift that many more times because those downshifts sound really good. But yeah, no issues with that. Getting the power to the rear on slick days that we had some rain, yeah, just had to switch it over to slippery just for precaution if I wanted to hammer it down or I needed to a little bit. I didn't get the sideways because you can get this guy sideways. Traction control is a little bit more lenient, so you do have to have a little bit more awareness of what your right foot is doing compared to your left and right hand. But this thing is incredible. It's just awesome. Like there's nothing else to really say about it other than that. So let's go ahead and take a look at those massive wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package and we have these nice 17-inch wheels, and they are wrapped in the 37s by 12.5 BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2s. Yeah, these things are 37s and they don't behave like big 37s on the negative side. On the positive side, they're 37s. You go over anything. The crazy thing though is that this week with this Raptor, compared to the other Raptors that I reviewed, this thing did way more highway miles than I did with the other one. And I was surprised at how good it was to basically stay on the road. I wasn't swerving or anything, or like the tire wasn't pulling one way. It was super smooth. It was quiet too. That's the other crazy thing, because when we have a beefy tire like this, you're gonna get a lot of road noise, but not with this. And the road absorption was, yeah, 100% almost, really, but you still knew what the steering wheel was doing, which was nice to kind of manage. It was good. Yeah, I love this setup. The wheels look awesome. They're a little bit dirty because we did some unpaved driving, but the design is cool. Obviously, there's tons and tons of aftermarket options, but the fact that we have this from factory is really awesome. The suspension has been awesome. I can go from normal to sport or to the off-road option, so we basically can soften this up. And really for everyday driving, I've been in the off-road mode because it's just been nice and soft to absorb any unpaved stuff or any bumps that we may encounter. For the highway, normal was enough. I didn't get the big body roll that I did with the F-150 Raptor. So that one I did have to always have in sport because any left-hand turns, we were kind of swaying a lot. So thankfully, you know, you can keep it in normal and be fine. But yeah, this thing is incredible. It could tackle so much with such ease. So let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. Now we get to the side and it just gets better and better. And let's get to the obvious, the 37-inch tires. Yeah, these things are huge. What I really love about it is that Ford didn't just shove in larger wheels and tires, because a lot of brands do that, and now you're really stuck with significantly less gap between the tire and the fender or the body or whatever the case is. Not with this. As you can see, there's still a huge amount of space for it to basically articulate and really shove itself in there. So loving that. And then we get to the kind of see the front side, and we have the gills on the side of the Raptor and the fenders. Now these are colored. They look really great. I love the fact that we have it with the shelter green as well. Yeah, like I said, I'm really loving this green. And yeah, again, bigger, significantly bigger flares than the standard Bronco to make sure that these guys can fit in there with no issues. So loving that. And we have the mirrors, which have the 360-degree camera system, and it also has the surrounding zone lighting, which I really love with the Fords. And yeah, makes it easy to, you know, see your surrounding areas or make sure that you know, anything is visible if you decide to take this out on an overlanding kind of trip or camping. But yeah, that's what we get. We have the doors, which are nice and big. We have the Raptor steps down here, which are gonna help get in. They're not too bad. Yes, they have to be a little bit on the taller side if you decide to take this guy off-roading. But yeah, I like them. They're good step to get in. A little bit taller than I'd like, but I'll give a little bit to gain significantly more protection. But we have that. And then the rear door is nice and big as well. And we have the massive flared fender here in the back. This one has the hardtop, so we have the hardtop option. I did see that they announced something at SEMA. SEMA was last week, where they're going to be doing or have the option of a motorized soft top. So I'd love to see that actually become an option, because sometimes it's fun to just let the air in, but having to deal with hard tops or even soft top can kind of be a pain. But it's very easy. It's just kind of the whole storage of things. But yeah, that's kind of what we get inside. We get to the back and this thing is larger than life. It really is. This thing is massive. First of all, you can tell from how wide this thing is from this shot in the back. Yeah, it's incredible. I unfortunately having to kind of put one wheel slightly into the grass or off my driveway to actually get this to fit in with another car. Yeah, I kind of killed some plants because I ran them over. It's just that wide, so just be aware if you don't have the biggest of garages or driveways, make sure you measure. But we have massive width. We have awesome taillights. I love these things, little light elements inside of them, so they look really cool. I love how they're kind of individually broken up there. We do get the third brake light up here. This big guy, this replacement tire, wheel and tire, is kind of a pain because you actually lose a lot of your visibility because of how big this thing is. Yeah, so just be aware, looking at your rearview mirror is very slim as far as what you could see. But we have the rear camera, which is going to tap into the 360-degree system to make sure that when you back this up, you know when to stop. But love it. It looks super cool though. I love it. And obviously if you have a flat, you have a full-size spare there. We have the Raptor badge here on the side, which looks awesome. We have recovery hooks down here. We have the power hookups for the trailer, and then for the hitch down there as well. And you could probably see, well, the exhaust, unfortunately, we don't have any like super cool looking exhaust, so it's just two silver pipes just kind of coming down. I wish this had a little bit something cooler, but I get it. It's all about the ground clearance or the departure angle, so to speak, for that. So we have that, and then down there you can really see the diff. It's super shiny, but love this rear. So let's go ahead and see what we have in here. We go to open the back, and we do have a sensor, so it recognizes my hand, and I can go ahead and open. So we open up the bottom part first. If you don't need to, this is still really a lot of access to stuff, so really easy to grab things. But for taller things, you're definitely going to want to lift the rear glass right in there. And now we do have the big opening where you can really shove a massive box in here. But don't be fooled, because you do have the braces up here. So just kind of be aware of that this is going to kind of hinder if you're looking to, you know, see, oh cool, I have a really big box opening. Not quite. You need that for stability and protection. But yeah, other than that though, really good deep space. Actually pretty deep as well, like that. We have the speaker back here, which is really good. We have the 12 volt and the lighting Back there, we have a little bit of just kind of small storage there as well. But yeah, oh, and this rubber mat is really nice. We go under here and we don't have much. We just have a little bit of storage and your jack there. But overall though, really liking this. My favorite though is definitely that drawer that I had with other Broncos, because it makes it really awesome to just kind of bring it out and essentially work on stuff, whether you're out camping and you need to essentially cook stuff. It was a really handy option to have. But yeah, overall though, that's kind of what you get. And then with the door, we have this, we have accessories, accessory ready here. So if you want to attach things to this, you can. Again, that door, that wheel is massive. So just kind of be aware of that. And that's kind of what you get. So there is a sequence. You do have to bring the glass down first and then close this off. And that's what you get. We take a look at the door and it's pretty simple, but really effective. What I mean by that is this area here, even though it's not that thick, it's perfect enough to just lay my arm on, and it made for the perfect armrest. So really loving that. We get obviously your door handles, your door locks. We don't get the power window switches here. They're actually in the center in case you decide to kind of get rid of the door, which I don't know why we would need them if the doors are missing. But anyways, they're not here. They're in the center console. We have the handle here. We have a nice little net for a bottle of water, which, yeah, it's my wife's water bottle, and you can see it's actually big, and you can make it significantly bigger. I could have probably fit another one right in here. So yeah, really nice, like that. And yeah, unfortunately, because of that, you kind of lose any functionality here for storage and things like that. We get to the seats and these things are incredible. I love them. They're super comfortable. No issues with really positioning them. Love the way that they feel. Yeah, they're just big boy friendly as well, which helps out with the plushness and the comfortable factor of it. Now, we do have the power adjustable option, and I will tell you that I'm going to nitpick and yeah, ask for a lot, because closed mouths don't get fed. But basically, I was wishing we had a saved feature for, you know, memory seats, because my wife loves driving this thing and I love driving it as well, but we have completely different seating positions. So would be nice for maybe the next generation or maybe an update to have some saved seats. I don't know, Bronco Limited, something like that. But either way though, that would be nice. Other than that though, the seats are great, love them. You know, we do have the white stitching, which I was kind of hoping everything was orange, like we kind of get there, but it still looks good. It still looks really good, and they worked really well. Now to get into this, it does take a little bit, so it is easy to use this handle. I kept reaching for up here or up here, but then started using this and realized, whoa, this is where it's at. And it's super easy to just kind of grab it and then just pull with it and you're in. We take a look at the wheel and this thing is awesome. So it is big in regards to like the thickness of the wheel itself. So it is very plush. So just kind of be ready for that. It's all the same soft leather. There isn't like any dimpled or anything like that, but it feels good. My hand feels really comfortable right in there. So no issues. We do get kind of the it's like a red orange stitching that we get, which is the kind of the Raptor treatment for it. So love that. And then of course my favorite, at the top center, we do have for the steering wheel to indicate that. So yeah, it looks really cool, loving that. On the left hand side, we're gonna have some cruise control settings along with the volume up and volume down. And then on the right hand side, we have the infotainment controls for like next track, and then for the gauge cluster as well, and then some other menu options there with, you know, answering and ending calls. But that's kind of what you get with the wheel. And of course we ended up with the little Raptor, but loving this thing. It's really well done. We take a look at the gauge cluster, and it's an all digital display, which I really love. I like this more than the standard Bronco one. So hopefully everything switches over to this. But yeah, we have different options that we can see on the middle. So obviously we have our trip, and then the different categories that we can choose. So if we go to like Raptor info, we can see, you know, tire pressure. So we'll just kind of go into one of those, pitch and roll, power distribution, driver assistance, my Raptor status, which we'll look into next, off-road status, and so on. So we do have a good amount of options for customizing that. At the top, we obviously have our gauges, our smaller gauges. On the left, we have the tach, and on the right side, we have the speedometer. When I switch to GOAT modes, yeah, we have cool animations, love it, off-road. We have Baja, rock crawl, and we have the slippery, which I used many times this week, and then tow haul, sport, and then just your normal. So love the little animations, cool little option there. And then when we get down to the wheel, forgot to mention this, but we have different modes, so we can break it down into steering wheel, feel, and then suspension, and the exhaust. And then that R is basically your save and recall button. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll go ahead and hit the steering. I can go to normal, comfort, or sport. I like my steering in sport basically 100% of the time, because it actually helps out with many adjustments that you may need to do. They basically get absorbed by the steering wheel being, you know, significantly stiffer than in comfort mode, which you're constantly doing micro adjustments. Not necessarily in this vehicle, I didn't feel it as much, but that again is because I was 100% in the sport option. And then the suspension, like I said, we have damper for normal, sport, and then off-road. Off-road has been my go-to, again, when I'm just kind of dealing with everyday driving in areas where I know there's like potholes, things like that. But then when I was on the highway, I was definitely in normal to tighten things up and make sure any sweeping, winding road parts of the highway I can respond to significantly better. And then we have the exhaust, which definitely was best in Baja. But remember, kids, off-road use only. So let's see if we can rev this thing. Okay. Let's see maybe if we switch it over to Baja mode, if it lets us rev it up all the way. So we do the 4x4, sure. Okay, we're still being limited. Maybe neutral. It's still giving us the limitation on the revving. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with the with that. And then once, let me go ahead and go back to normal. And I like the power usage and the shifting in normal mode, so that's fine. So we'll go ahead and switch it back to steering there, and we'll go to exhaust, Baja, and then suspension. We go to off-road. So now when I press and hold my R button, it's going to save it as my mode. And I can go ahead and switch over to a different mode. Let's say we're in slippery, and it shifts. If I want to go back to my mode, I just tap the R twice, and it's shifting it over to my settings that I previously had set. So that's kind of what you get with the gauge cluster. I know it's a lot, it included the drive modes and stuff like that, but it's really simple to get used to and get running. Now, one of my favorite things about the Bronco is the fact that we do have USB-C and A power hookups there, and we have a GoPro mount here, or any camera, small camera, but it's a little tripod mount there. So really cool, loving that, because again, if you're having adventures, now we didn't hook ours up because I couldn't find the correct connection, but yeah, we just use a suction cup on the windshield. But if you're going out on adventures, you can point it backwards to film anyone inside, or out to the basically the outside and see your trail. But yeah, really cool little thing. And then we come back a little bit more, and we have essentially what makes this the ultimate Bronco, because all of these little buttons are filled up. Some of them will give you some, and others will give you very little. But with this one, we get all of them. First one is the sway bar disconnect. So we can, or this stay bar disconnect, basically the sway bar, disconnecting it to give us more articulation. Then we come over to this one and we can independently lock the front differential. So yeah, front locker on there or rear locker, or I can just have my rear locker, or I can just have my front locker. So it gives us that flexibility if you need it, which was one of my favorite things about this off-roader. And then we have, I forget the name of it, which I'll go ahead and include it at the bottom, but this basically, the inner wheel, so basically this lets you literally turn on a dime, because it will lock one of the, either the left or the right, depending on where you're turning, and it will actually hold the brake, and then when you turn the wheel, it will basically let you turn the Bronco literally on a dime. It's incredible. And then we have the fun, traction control off, which we're gonna keep it because this thing really can get down with a lot of power. And then obviously we have our hazards button right in there. But yeah, that's kind of what we get with all the awesome modes for this. We get over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is big. I love it. It's super clear. It's super bright. You're seeing a lot of reflections, but don't worry, that's not what you typically see from the driver aspect. But it looks really good. I love it. And I love the fact that we have the kind of duality of this. We have a double screen, so to speak, where we can have your infotainment or your maps here, and then we can have your entertainment on the side here, or like off-road status, pitch and roll. Like, we have additional options, which is really nice, because again, like I said, I can have the map nice and big here, and then the song, I can go ahead and just go to the next one. One of my favorite things about this infotainment screen. But yeah, other than that though, it has been great. The B&O speakers have been loud, have been awesome to just blast this thing. Okay, so one of my favorite things about the Bronco is these switches up here. So we have the auxiliary switches for powering accessories. Love this thing because they sound so good. Okay, I'm gonna have to move my mic up. Yeah, I could do this all day. We come down to some controls, and we have our volume knob here. We have our tune. We have our camera, 360 camera system, which has been great. Super easy to get to, and like I said, you really need it. Only complaint I would have is this black situation there. Yeah, it's not 100% accurate. I wish it were. And I wish we didn't have this, because it feels like it's not really completely or correctly programmed. But yeah, other than that though, the camera button is really nice and easy to access. Again, we have our hard buttons to go to the next track, previous track, or pause. And then the climate system down here has been basically unneeded to be messed with, really, because I set it and was done. That's it. It's simple though, so loving that. We have the heated option for the seats and for the steering wheel as well. But simple, out of the way, not needing to be fidgeted with, so loving that. We come down a little bit lower, and this is where things get a little bit complicated, because we do have the USB-C and the USB-A connections down there, and I have a cable plugged in because I have a wireless charger, but when I do the chuck test, or even the, hey, let's just kind of get it to charge, it charges, then it doesn't, then it charges, and now it's not charging, now it's charging, and it'll probably stop charging, which it did there, started charging again. So yeah, stop charging, you get the point. Was kind of disappointed and hoped it worked well. So yeah, we're needing to basically plug in for that, or just have a really good charge to not need to be constantly fixing that. Then we come over here and we have the cool little Bronco kind of badge here, so love the way that that looks. It's funny because the screws themselves are like the headlights for that. We come over to the shifter, and the shifter's nice and big. Love this thing, you know, just really put it into gear kind of thing. So really good with that. Then we have the GOAT modes, which we went over, and then we also have the individual basically settings for the drivetrain, whether I want to be in 2 high, 4 auto, 4 high, or 4 low. So loving the fact that we have this separate, just in case you want to kind of vary things. Say you want to go into sport mode, but want to be in 4 auto. So love the fact that we have that versatility with it. Then we have the cup holders, really nice and big, no complaints about there. Your passenger has their OS handle right in here, so that's good. Then we have our mirror kind of options here. We have our switches for the windows, as well as this here. Now I mentioned the power roof thing that we saw at SEMA, and apparently it's going to be coming to like a different plate here, so that should be cool to see. Hopefully it does come true and we see that as an option, because that would be awesome. Then we come over to the armrest, and no complaints there. We do have a good amount of depth to this. It's not super big though as far as opening, but it really is pretty deep, and that's kind of what you get in the front. We get to the back door, and we can see again, very simple design like we did in the front. We do have the netting, which we can see here. We can hold 2 water bottles, which is my kiddos' water bottles. But yeah, really nice the fact that we are able to make this flexible, and maybe even throw in a snack or something like that back here. And then we get to the seat themselves, and they are super comfortable. Love the way that these things look. Love the way that they feel. Really no complaints about the comfortability of the Bronco in the back seat. And we also have some netting here if you want to store some things. We have a plastic probably hook system here. I probably wouldn't put too much weight though, but small accessories. We also have their also for their windows, their controls. We have power hookups right in there, so really nice to see that. We have his child seat, which is a little tough to put because the anchors are really kind of in here, and it's a tight fit, so just kind of be aware. It did take a little bit for me to kind of put the piece there. And then we bring this down. We have the cup holders, the hidden cup holders he likes to call. But yeah, that's kind of what you get in the back. And we have obviously the floor mats, even with the tunnel here as well, which I really like, because that way you can contain all the garbage that you may get from off-roading and things like that. But that's kind of what you get in the back. We get inside of the Bronco Raptor for a drive, and yeah, I don't want to talk too much because I want to enjoy this. I want to drive. But yeah, you know, we're gonna go ahead and get started. And I do have my my Raptor mode turned on, basically, or my mode settings. Basically, we have normal for the power kind of delivery. We have sport for the steering wheel feel. We have off-road for the suspension, so we have that really soft or suspension setting, and we have Baja for the exhaust because we want to be loud, but remember, off-road use only. Yeah. Be responsible. But it's smooth. It's a very smooth ride, and whether you put it in Baja mode, or you put it or the off-road mode, or you put it in normal or sport, it will react that way. I had it in normal during the highway because I wanted a little bit more response. I didn't want too much body roll, especially at the higher speeds, and that behaved really well. On these lower speeds here, and maybe not the smoothest of roads, yeah, I just have it in off-road mode so that it can absorb that, and it makes the cab, you know, a lot softer to those outside bumps. But yeah, it's it's fine. I have plenty of space. Everything is so ergonomically placed. I love the fact that the armrest, I'm able to just kind of perfectly grab the wheel here. The shifter is here. You know, I can do the shifter back here with the paddle shifters. It's just great. I love driving Broncos. They are a blast. Are they the smoothest, like, you know, luxurious feel? No. But again, I don't get in my Miata thinking, why can't I have such a smooth, you know, cloud-like drive? You get a different car for that. This is for having fun, having adventures, and yeah, being really loud. Now, because we are on the paved side of things and we're gonna have some fun, so we'll go ahead and switch the drive mode over to sport mode, and that is gonna tighten things up. So I am sport all across. So sport exhaust, we have sport suspension and sport steering. We'll do one extra and make sure we go to off-road or Baja for the exhaust. And let's see if we'll put this in manual mode, and let's see if I just floor it, if it will downshift. It will not. So it is behaving like a true manual. So we'll go ahead and use the paddle shifters down to second, and it'll hold the gear as well. So that's good, because we get a true manual mode in this automatic, which is not what you see in a lot of other, you know, performance vehicles. You want to make sure that it keeps it at that setting. And the power delivery is really there. Yeah, this thing is a blast to drive. We do a couple of downshifts, drop a wheel there so we can get some traction out. And because we are in sport mode, it does put it in too high. And yeah, this thing is a blast to drive. And the brakes, yeah, I know I complained about the brakes in the 4-cylinder version of the Bronco, but in this, the brakes are so good. Even with those big tires, it is so much fun to just get it. Oh my gosh, this is a blast. This is always fun to just, and those downshifts sound so heavenly. Yeah, I'm so glad there's 10 gears in this, because that means I can downshift that many times, and it's just so rewarding. Now let's do the 3-point stop, and I'm gonna cheat a little bit because that's how awesome this thing is. I could just put it right there, just take it really off, and then put it really low there, and I think we're gonna accomplish this 3-point stop with tall grass, which has been an issue for many cars, even the tiniest. Yeah, we literally just did it in 3 stops. Yeah. Yes, I know I'm cheating, but that's why this is so awesome. Now I've gone ahead and set up our race box, which is our telemetry box to measure our 0 to 30, 0 to 60, and other things drag racing related. So really cool. Also, it's a lap timer, so nice compact all-in-one device. So loving that. If you're interested in one of these, I'll put my link in the description and maybe a possible little discount. Now we put it in sport mode, and we're gonna go ahead and load it up a little bit and see if we can get it going. And oh, that is fast. So we have 0 to 30 in 2.33 seconds and 0 to 60 in 6.46 seconds. Yeah, that is pretty good, and it did it with ease. It really did. No fuss. It just got the power down. So we put it back in manual mode, and this thing is just such a dream to have and to drive. Yeah, is this overkill for every day? Of course it is. But so is so is a lot of sports cars. So is a lot of you know, big trucks. Well, some people still need big trucks, but yeah, it's just it's overkill, and I kind of love Ford for doing that. What do we need more though? More. We need a Raptor R. We need a V8 powered Raptor R for the Bronco, just like we did for the F-150. Yes, it's hard for me to talk because this thing is such a blast to drive. It is just incredible. Do I want one? Yeah. Do I need one? Hell yeah. Does everyone need one? Yeah, I think so. It's just a fun vehicle to have. It's one of these crazy projects of let's give this a try. Let's throw something in there and just go over the top. Put every setting to the max. And Ford did a great job with it. It's just hilarious. It's simply that. And it's hilarious because you're gonna have such a smile on your face every single time you put the power down, whether you're blasting through Baja style roads, whether you're rock crawling. This thing is a monster. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Bronco Raptor, and remember, find the right gear. See ya.